All right. Oh, and let's answer some questions over here. How are single camera shows filmed? Well, they're shot like movies. We have cameras and boop boop. They're just like movies on location usually. Not always. Sometimes they're shot on sound stages. It just depends on the budget. Anybody else? Anybody else? People are joining. Have a favorite film of 2022? Yeah, I saw something that I liked, but I can't remember what it was called. I got to think about that. Any advice on how to get the best out of actors when directing? Oh, well, you should take acting classes, to be honest. You should take acting classes. I have a whole module in my screenwriting course. By the way, if you want to take my screenwriting course, it's on sale today, Cyber Monday. The sale ends very soon. It's 40% off, and you go to MichaelJamin.com/course. But I have a whole module there on like directing and how I direct actors. You don't want to give them line readings. I go into it in detail. Basically, I give them what I call parentheticals. Angry, jealous, upset, weary, whatever. So that they know what to play. But I go into it in detail. I've done quite a bit of directing, mostly animation. Do you like theater shows? Yeah. Who wrote your screenwriting course? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I wrote it. I teach it, so it's my course. I teach you what I know about screenwriting. Who else would do it? As soon as I get my bonus next year, I'm taking your course. Bonus, Stefaroni. Oh, good. I hope you get a nice big fat bonus. But yeah, or get help from others. No, Fo Hung, I'm the writer. I'm the guy who wrote it. It's my knowledge, so I just shared it. I was just writing, and then I found out that you are live. Hi, Julia. Good for you for writing. Any excuse not to write is what I say. Any excuse not to write, which is why I come on here and plug my show, so I can just take a break from writing. If you are in LA, you want to come see my show, go to MichaelJamin.com/live for tickets. We still have a few seats left. It's a small venue, but it will sell out, so I hope you will come and enjoy the show. I'm not a writer, but I'm fully invested in your content. All right, Dexter, I appreciate that. Sorry to ask so many questions. That's okay, Garrett. But when you write, how much do you develop your characters past that are prior to the story? How much do you develop your characters past that are prior to the story? Oh, not much, to be honest. That's all backstory. Backstory you're not watching. You understand? Backstory is not, you're not watching it. So, people like to develop backstory because, it's not going to be on TV or it's not going to be on screen. So they're like, oh, I'll just spend time doing this crap, which will waste all my time. But we have a show that we're taking out selling soon, which the character has a very interesting backstory. But, the show takes place in the present, so you only get so much out of the backstory. What's your best advice for an aspiring show creator who has a great idea and a pitch deck? Do you recommend trying to pitch directly to a production company, studios, or getting an agent? You're not going to get an agent. Matt Eden Holmes. So welcome to my channel. It sounds like you're new. I've talked about this at length. So what I would recommend, here's my best advice for you. Get on my free newsletter, MichaelJamin.com/watchlist. Listen to my podcast, also free. Screenwriters need to hear this. All the links are in the profile. This is what you're talking about is never going to happen. Hollywood doesn't work this way. You understand that? You're not going to get an agent because you're no one right now. Why would an agent want to take you on? No, this is no offense. I'm trying to help you. But an agent, the agents don't take people off the street. You have to bring more to the table. And you're not going to you can have a great idea and you can have a pitch deck, but how is a production company going to take you? They're not looking for people off the street. I can get a meeting because I've been doing it for 26 years, but you can't get a meeting. And I'm railing because there's so much bad information. You've been fed so much useless information that now you think you have to make a pitch deck and you have to get an agent. This is not how Hollywood works. I teach you how Hollywood works, and I teach it to you for free. All you got to do is watch all my videos or get on my newsletter. Just watch that. But it works me up because there's so many people giving bad advice, and there are people like you. Well, here's my pitch deck because you're listening to the idiots telling you what to do. They don't know what to do. Why would they know what to do? All right, Matt, I'm trying to help. I understand. Thought maybe an assistant helped. Oh well, I did it all. Fo Hung. I did it myself. I had my Phil who helps out on the course. He helped out with a lot of technical issues, but the knowledge comes from up here. Would you ever work with Rhett and Link again? Love Buddy System. Oscar, I love Rhett and Link. I would work with them in a heartbeat, but I don't think they're interested in doing another show like that. You know, they have other projects that they want to do. But I love them. They love me. But they just don't want to do it. Mr. Michael, let's make a scenario where you sell a T-shirt with a picture of your face on it for $1,000. Who'd want to pay $1,000? Someone buys it, and with this purchase, you get a thank you note. What are you saying? I'm saying, why? Okay, here's my thank you note. Why the hell would you spend $1,000 on a picture with my face? That's what my thank you note sounds like. You rock. Thanks. Best way to get your screenplay seen. Roma, start listening to my podcast. Start listening. Get on my free newsletter. I answer all these questions. I like this best way. Like, how about I have so much advice and I give it all free, but you're just gonna have to sign up and watch it because there's no best way. You know, the best way is kidnap Steven Spielberg. Don't do that. You know. Any plans for more shows in January? Oh, Stefaroni. No, there won't be any shows in January. I'm sorry you can't make the December show. No, there may be shows in the spring. We'll have to see, but definitely won't be in January. Because, do you believe in story circle concept? I don't really know what that is, but my answer is probably no. Everyone in LA has a great idea. Exactly. You should definitely read Ancient Comedy. Okay. Screenwriting software other than Scrivener. I use Final Draft, but you know, I don't know. How have you not started a band with a name like that? Okay. Preach. Also, a nice jacket. Looks like a pilot's jacket. This looks like a trucker's jacket, really. I'm sold. How do I find your course? Well, the kid stays in hip hop. Go to michaeljamin.com/course. Or you could just find the link in my profile. But michaeljamin.com/course. It's 40% off today. He can learn how to produce beats, and the tagline, Michael, okay, yeah, maybe. My personal favorite is, all right. Do I use Scrivener? No. You said the other day you started as a PA. How did you land that position? I just sent out a lot. This was before emails. I sent out a lot of letters, mail, regular mail, tons of them. And I kept a log. I kept a spreadsheet. I followed up. You have to hit it hard. But I also have, what's your name? Evil by Interpool. I have on my watch list. I have a bunch of videos on how I got my PA or how one would go about getting a PA job. What's a good writing exercise to do in my free time? Oh, Eugene. I talk a lot about why you should write personal essays. So go watch some of those videos. How do you get a writing partner? Well, that's exactly. How do you find someone who you want to write with? I'd like to see that rehashed. Better spend it on his course instead of a T-shirt. Yeah, I mean, $1,000 T-shirt. Back from Barca. Excited to see your show. Oh, Katrina Draws, I'm glad you're coming. I'm so thankful you're coming. And if anybody else wants to come see my show, there's still a few tickets. michaeljamin.com/live in LA, December 10th and 11th in Atwater Village. The best way is taking the Jamin course. This is Mike Knox, Famous Graves, LA. He's taking my class. As a new writer, me and my producer's idea is to finance and film pilot plus 3 episodes for more leverage. Thoughts? Is to finance and film a pilot plus 3 episodes. I like the idea. Good luck getting someone to finance it. I mean, I don't know how that's going to happen. But I like the idea of you shooting. I wouldn't do 3 episodes. I'd do 10. And I do each one would be 10 minutes long. And I would do them on YouTube. I've talked more at length on this on my channel. I do it on YouTube, and I do, let's say, 10 or 20 episodes. And they can be short, 10 minutes long or something like that. I wouldn't spend a lot of money. That's not where you want to spend the money. I could shoot it on my phone, and I'd get people to help out. And if you build up a big enough audience, Hollywood will come find you. But there's a catch. What's the catch? The writing has to be good. Not even the acting. The acting has to be passable. The lighting doesn't have to be good. The sound has to be great. You have to be able to hear it. If you're going to spend money on the sound. You could shoot it on your phone. And but the writing has to be good. That's where you need to spend the money, is learning how to write. Because you can make this thing look like, no one's going to be impressed when you shoot how it looks. They're just not. And you could put special effects in it. It's not going to impress anybody. It's the writing that impresses people. All right. Piggybacking on how Hollywood works, whose improbable rise to success as a screenwriter impressed you the most? Oh, I don't really know. I mean, everyone has an improbable rise to screenwriting, you know? There's no probable way. Bring the show to San Fran. Well, Ivor, I'd love to do that. But I can't bring the show anywhere without an email list of people who want to see me. And so people always say, bring the show. And then I say, sure, give me your email address. And then people, because I understand people don't want to give out their email addresses. People are protective. I'm not going to spam you with boner pills if that's what you're worried about. But I'm not going anywhere without an email address. Because if someone doesn't want to give me an email address, well, then they damn sure ain't going to open their wallet. They're not going to give me their credit card if they don't give me their email address. So if you'd like me to come to San Francisco, and I'd love to come, when they start touring with the book, I'd love to come to San Francisco, but I need an email address. So you can go to MichaelJamin.com/upcoming. Come to Toronto, or as we say, Toronto. I guarantee it will yield you good results. Melissa, Angelina, you're not the only one. You're not the only Canadian friend who wants me to come to Toronto. And I would love to. To be honest, I have, of all the cities that people want me to come visit, it's LA, it's New York, and then Chicago and Toronto are tied for 3. I don't know why. For some reason, Toronto's in there. I would love to come there, but again, I need your name on an email list. So go to MichaelJamin.com/upcoming and enter your city and your email. But here's the thing. I can't go through customs. I can't go to Canada, go through customs and perform in front of an empty room. You know what I'm saying? How do you get over the fear of offending people with your sense of humor? Where is the line? Well, good question. You have to be the arbiter of that. And the line changes. It changes. It's different now than it was 5 or 10 years ago. But it better be funny. If you're going to offend somebody, you better be funny. You know what I'm saying? If you're not funny and you're offensive, then you're just a jerk. But if you are funny but offensive, you can get away with it because you go, people laugh. Thanks for the advice. I will start listening. All right, Matt, I started my new project. Good. Savon, good for you, man. Good point on the video quality. The video quality is not important. The sound has to be good. I'm going to write and film a Halloween movie in 2024 with a friend. See, Julia Verga's already on it. Best neighborhood in LA. I am not a realtor. Oh, did you think you were listening to the Realtor channel? Again with the boner pills. Yep, you damn right about that. Today marks 365 days of writing. Good for you. That is a good achievement. Toronto here too. Mark Hennick. Mark, I'd love to come to Toronto. I don't know what's with you Canadians. You like me. You Canadians like me. So just go to MichaelJamin.com/upcoming. I would love to sell out a show in Canada. I love it. I would love it. But I need emails. My book is going to be called The Bad Ventriloquist. Oh, sounds like a murder mystery. Gainesville, Florida. Again, Savon? Savon's art? I don't know. Go to MichaelJamin.com/upcoming. Steve Lanzi Steve. Hey, Michael, if you can bring a paper orchestra to Vegas or Orange County, I'll try to come see you in those cities as well as Atwater Village. Well, thank you. I don't have a lot of interest in Vegas. I simply don't. Not a lot of people saying come to Vegas. As far as Orange County, I play in LA, so most people just take the drive. So, but thank you though. You can't give a damn. Good question. Just don't give a woo. If a writer, my AirPods are gonna die. I better plug them in. This is me plugging in my AirPods. Whatever you call. If a writer takes less money in their negotiation, does that offer them more control or involvement in the production? No. Nope. No. Get as much money up front as you can possibly get. That's what I always say. You're not going to get more control. No way. That's the one thing that they're never going to give away. Did you like the Damn It Bobby song? I don't even remember it. The Office is a great example of being slightly over the offensive line, but doing so. Yes, it is. Exactly what writing is the main part. I have a feeling the second episode I write will be a lot better than the pilot. Any advice on getting to know your characters better? Well, Ali Zaidi, I don't know. I think I'm saying your name wrong. I apologize. Yeah, if you want to know how to do this, you might want to consider taking my writing course at michaeljamin.com/course, and it's on sale today for Cyber Monday We're having a 40% sale. So go to MichaelJamin.com/course and you can learn how I tell stories, how professionals tell stories. And that will answer that question. Toronto, there we have it. Canada. All the best neighborhoods in LA are unaffordable. Yeah, I mean, even the bad neighborhoods are unaffordable. Jay Clark from Toronto, I'd love to come see you. I'd love to come visit you in Toronto, Jay. Go to MichaelJamin.com/upcoming. Give me your email. Have you ever had inspiration that you couldn't make work on paper? Absolutely. For sure, dude. You think everything I hit out of the park? Dude, I got a bunch of failed stories and stuff that just don't go anywhere. So I kill it. I give up on them. What's the live on today? Well, what is your name? Eve is alive. The live today is basically I'm plugging my show, A Paper Orchestra. We only have a couple of seats left for each show. So I hope you'll come see me if you're in the LA area. December 10th and 11th. Tickets are on sale at michaeljamin.com/live. Love your stuff. Thank you. Thank you, the incredible Kev. Have you ever written for a spec short and gotten an option contract for the feature pilot if made? I don't even know what this means. I got to read it again. Have you ever written for a spec short and gotten an option contract for the feature pilot if made? I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I just sent it to you a week or so ago. I made it named, 420 Esquire. Just so you know, I don't usually open anything that people send me. Nothing. So I would have blocked that probably because it exposes me to liability. I don't want to be accused of stealing something. I don't want to accidentally steal something. And I don't want to get a virus. So don't send you just as good. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but we don't open anything. Most writers will not open anything. I'm not a agent. I'm not soliciting work. I know people want to share stuff with me and I appreciate that, but I won't do it. I don't even open it. So I'm sorry. It's just how it goes. This is the world we live in. What experience level is your course best suited for? Well, AG Kangaroo. So a lot of people think they know stuff because they've taken courses before. My course is appropriate for people who are just starting writing today or have been doing it for years and haven't it'll take you to the next level. I know people think they already know this stuff. A lot of people think but I'm telling you, when I started this course, I started it because my friend Phil, who you may see from my podcast, and he runs all the marketing for this project, he went to film school. He graduated film school, and we were talking about story. And I was telling him how I approach story as a professional writer, how we do it every day in the writer's room. And he said, well, this is not what I learned in film school. Why didn't I learn any of this in film school? I said, I don't know. Can you get your money back? And it's because the people who were teaching him didn't know. They were probably just film school graduates who now are professors, There are some good teachers out there, but, you got to find them. And so what I teach is very different than I think what many of you have been taught, I think. This is practical advice that I literally show you how, if you were to sit next to me in the writer's room and you pitched me an idea, I would tell you why it's a good idea or a bad idea, and then I'd show you how we turn it into an episode, how we break it on the board. And I'm telling you, most new writers, even writers who are on new shows that I'm working on, do not know this information. I'm telling you they don't know it. And the problem is that they don't know it is many of them flame out within a year. They'll get fired. Most new writers, just so you know, get fired. And that's a shame. You got your big break, you're on a show, and then you flame out because you don't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it too. When I first broke in, I was hanging on by my fingernails. Thank God I didn't fall into the pit. Do you charge a booking fee to stage your show, or do you take part of the ticket sales? Do I charge a booking fee? It just depends how it goes. Sometimes you split the door. Sometimes it just depends the arrangement on how you do it. Sometimes you'll split the door with the theater. It just depends. I've done every way. Really miss the live comedy. Tinder to meet a writing partner? Maybe. Nice, I'm in Van Nuys. Well, Eve is alive. That's not a far drive because it's in Atwater Village. So Van Nuys, what you want to do is you want to get on the 134 going east, get off at the 2 going south, and it's only two or three exits south, so it's not far. How does mastering comedy writing carry over to drama as well? Well, J.M. Brooks, they're all both stories. So comedy is just a funny story. A drama is a dramatic story. So it's story is story. It's very similar. If you can write a good, compelling comedic story, you can write a dramatic story. If you can write a dramatic story, then that doesn't necessarily mean you can write a comedy, because some people are just not funny. So there's that. But if you can do one, if you do one, you can, whatever, you get it. With Marin being a dark comedy with less jokey jokes, did you have a specific methodology of how you approach the humor? Yeah, when we did Marin, my partner and I ran Marin on IFC, starring Mark Maron. And so he had a specific idea of what the tone of the show should be. And so first, I think the first draft my partner and I wrote, Mark thought it was too jokey. He said, "What is this, the joke parade? What is it, the joke parade?" And so we pulled out a lot of the humor because Mark didn't want to do that. He wanted it to be more real. I was like, cool, all right. We had to get on his page. That was our job. And so the humor mostly came from the situation, not from the dialogue. Not a lot of humor from the dialogue. Mostly it was about the absurdity of the situation. That's how we approached that. It was easier to write, actually, than... It was not a hard show to write, as far as I don't think. I mean shows, not stand-up. I don't know what that means. Do you ever let music inform the rhythm of your dialogue? No, I don't. I don't write with music on. I find it distracting. So, I don't know. It seems like a lot of your work is comedic. I hope, because it's all intended to be comedic. Do you think that your writing course and advice is applicable to all different genres, or it's more applicable to comedy? No, Matt, it's for everything. I've written, even though I mostly write comedy, like dark comedies we were just talking about. Marin was a dark comedy, which is closer to a drama than a comedy. There were episodes were not very funny. It was just sometimes they were absurd, but not funny. You know what I'm saying? So, and I definitely use a lot of case studies of movies in particular that were dramas, that were not comedies, that were dramas, to show you how story is story. And the reason why I use those movies as case studies is because most people have seen them, So I mentioned something like Amelie. A lot of people have seen that movie. News of the World, I did a case study on that. And so it's just easier for people to watch that than say, point to like an episode of television on some drama, you know what I'm saying? Because how are you going to find that? But a movie's easier to watch. So no, don't get hung up on that. Don't get hung up on it not being it's drama, comedy, stage show. If you're making a stage play, a novel, it's story. I teach story. So yeah, don't worry about that. Been binging, listening to your podcast. Great stuff. Thank you, Dwanger92. You talked about A, B, and C story. My question is, in dramas or hour-long shows, are 3 storylines standard or more common? Well, it just depends on the show. But yes, absolutely. Like if you have a drama, okay, so I'm watching White Lotus right now. You have, I don't know how many characters on that show, whatever. There are 10, maybe 10 or so main characters. A lot. It's a big cast, actually. Is it that many? It might be. So you have to come up with, you have 10 characters in the show, you have to come up with a storyline to occupy each of those characters. Most storylines will occupy 2, maybe 3 characters at most. Okay, so that's one storyline. So now we got 7 other characters you got to think of things for this. So they all get their own storyline. That's ABC story, for example. After taking your course, I learned it was the opposite of everything I'd been taught for the past 10 years. Ain't that interesting, Famous Graves? I'm curious where you learned, who taught you, what was the opposite? Who was teaching you? Michael's class would change how you think about writing and help you turn more into a craftsman of the art. Can't recommend it enough. That's Dave Crossman, one of my breakout star pupils. He's taking the class. He's getting a lot out of it. So yeah, thank you, Dave. Do you have any advice, foreign? I don't know what that means. Okay, I'm going to take the course, but I still want to get you to hear the song one day. You're going to hear her laugh your ass off. Oh, yeah. 420's high as hell. But thank you. Michael, agreed about schools often being out of touch with real life. I took video production classes in college in the 80s. Everything I learned is outdated today. Remember U-matic videotape? I don't remember U-matic, but I did take some video production courses. It's not so much that... it's not even so much it was outdated. Like I have a friend who's a really good writer who now teaches at a private college, and if you were to get in his class, you'd be like, ooh, you're lucky because he's good, you know? But, you know, you have to get lucky. You have to research your teacher, basically. I don't even think it's the school that matters. I think it's the professor. The professor. Find out, like, look at their credits, basically. Do you have any advice for someone writing a script about their own life? Sure, I certainly do, Pookie Poi. I certainly do. I have a whole module in my course called Mining Your Life for Stories. And this is exactly what this is, my paper orchestra. If you live in LA, you should definitely come see this because this will help you and inspire you. Because I take literally small moments from my life and I show you how I turn it into a story. Each one of these, afterwards, people always say to me, are you going to turn this into a TV series? It's not my goal, but I could. I mean, it's not my goal with this. So what I wanted to do is, it's a book. I wanted to write a book. And then I wanted to stage it as a stage reading because I like David Sedaris because I'm a fan of his. So it's not my intention to make this into a TV show. But if you were to come watch it, you go, oh, that's an episode of television for sure. I agree 1,000%. Thanks, Dave. What motivated you to start talking about writing on social media? Well, Kyle Leland. Sorry. I now have a platform, Kyle. So one thing I talk about a lot is how you have to bring a lot to the table. So I have a platform now on social media, on Instagram and on TikTok. I got a lot of followers so that I can do projects that I want to do. So that I could, a year ago, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have put up a show and sold it out. No one knew who I was, even though I was the same writer. So yeah, I have a platform now that I get to do what I want to do. I got immense freedom. Good stuff. And all I got to do is give. And see how that works? I wanted to do this. I wanted to stage a show. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to go on tour with it. But who cares what I want, right? No one gives a crap what I want. So in order to be able to do this, I have to give first. And I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes. I'm just here's my knowledge. And if you want more of my knowledge, just follow me. That's it. And in exchange, what do I get from it? I get a platform. I get followers. Pretty easy, you know? Not easy, but what do you think about seminal screenwriting books from guys like Sid Field and Robin McKee? Yeah, I mean, I've read those. I haven't read them in about 25, 30 years. So I'm not really equipped to talk about them anymore. I don't remember a damn thing. Curb Your Enthusiasm uses a lot of dark humor. Yeah. You're a great person. Thank you, Superboy. Hasta luego. Are your characters based on real people? Well, the characters in this every story in this is real. It happened to me. Every single story is real. So I changed the names of some people to protect their privacy, you know, but they're real. There's 2 stories I'm doing December 10th and 11th. One is, I definitely changed the names, obviously. One is about, it's a dating story from the time when I just graduated college to before I became a professional writer. There's this like 4-year window which I was in limbo, which was very difficult for me. That was the worst time of my life. I wasn't quite an adult, I wasn't really a child anymore. And so that story is about, this is a dating story from that time period. And of course I changed the names. I don't want to hurt this woman's feelings or anything. I don't want to take her privacy, but so I changed that. And what was the other story? What's the other story I'm doing? Oh, yeah, The Ghoul. And that's another story, absolutely true, about a guy who lived in my block, who was a hoarder. Yeah, and so that's one of the stories I tell, my experience with him. Do you start jokes with your punchline? Do you start jokes with your punchline? The punchline is the last part of the joke. Can you watch shows without picking them apart? Is it hard for you? I try not to. Honestly, that's not my goal. My goal is to watch a TV show and relax, you know, and get it. If I start picking it apart, it's because it sucks. If it's great, I get lost in it, you know. When I start picking it apart, that's a problem. It means that the writer sucks or just didn't do a good job with this episode. And I watched a movie a couple weeks ago. I was like, this sucks, and I'm telling my wife, this is why it sucks. But for the most part, you know, I'm lost in it. I'm just enjoying. I'm on the ride. If it's great, I'm along for the ride. Plays afford more characters. I don't mean theater. Oh, How might your workshop benefit stand-up comedians writing their own material? Well, Kano Tundo, it's not a workshop for stand-up. It's not a workshop. It won't teach you how to be a stand-up comedian. What it'll teach you to do is how to take a story from your life, which you probably have. I mean, pretty simple. Okay, so for example, Mark Maron, we ran Maron's show on IFC. So when we got that gig, the first thing my partner and I did, we started listening to all his comedy albums, specials, and we read his book, and all that stuff. And so he would do. There was one comic run, which was, I don't know, it was like 5 minutes. He told a 5-minute story about how a possum died underneath his house. And it was just a bit he did from one of his acts. And it was funny, right? And so my partner and I were like, well, that could be an episode. So we turned that into an episode of television. But it wasn't just about, like, the funny part is funny, but there's not enough meat on the bones. You have to know how to take what's the emotional current underneath it. What's it really about? And then if you figure out how to, whenever I have a story, and I talk about this during my show, if you're in LA, you should come because it'll help. I ask myself 2 questions. What's this about? And what's it really about? You understand? What's it about is the plot. It's what I did. It's what happened to me. It's what I did. What's it really about is why I did it. And that's the key to writing that most new writers simply do not understand how to do. And that's the good part. You need both. You need to have a firm understanding of how to convey the what's it about part, and then what's it really about. And so that's what I teach in the course. I don't know what your goal is. If you want to be a better stand-up comedian, it's probably not for you. But if you want to turn your work, your stand-up into something bigger that can help you get work as a writer or transform your work into a theatrical piece, then that has the potential to move people. But the problem, as you know, is a stand-up, and I like stand-up comedy, but to me, it lacks something. Stand-up lacks the emotional undercurrent to really, like, a good stand-up will get you to laugh your ass off, right? But it won't get you to cry. You'll laugh your ass off, but you won't cry. And so what I try to do with my show, A Paper Orchestra, is both. I get you to laugh your ass off and then cry. And I think the crying part is that's the part that people take home with them. They don't take home the laughs. They won't remember a joke you told. People don't remember any of there's a lot of jokes in my show. People don't come to me afterwards or on social media, or they don't post, they don't say, oh, that joke was so funny. That's not what sticks with them. What sticks with them is the stuff, when I'm writing, in my mind, I'm thinking of the person in their car before they're putting the keys in the ignition. I want them to stop for a few seconds and just think, man, what did I just watch? I want them to feel it, because that's the measure of good writing, in my opinion, is not how much you're enjoying it when you're watching it. I mean, that's important. But to me, it's how long does that piece stick with you afterwards? How long is it still in your head or in your heart? That's Hollywood. Yes, Hollywood? Yes? Hollywood hung up. So that's my intention is. And if you want to come see that, if you want to come see me do it and hopefully, inspire you to do the same, tickets for Paper Orchestra are on sale at michaeljamin.com/live. And if you want me to come to your city, wherever you are, go to michaeljamin.com/upcoming and give me your info, your 411. Can your course help with cinematography in any way? No, it's not a cinematography course. It's a writing course. My classic professors were from Oxford and Harvard. Hello from Pittsburgh. Oh, I like Pittsburgh. I like that town. How do I use parallels to create layers to a story without overcomplicating and making the story feel cramped? I don't know what parallels are. You're using words I don't know. Hi, Michael. Hello. Tarantino said a director just has to have a vision. Are writers the first people one takes that idea to? Well, Derek, it sounds like you're a director and you want to find a writer. Good luck. Why would a writer want to direct? Why would a writer want to write your idea? They have their own. You have to write your own idea. Who writes Tarantino's ideas? He does. Do you ever consider short stories comedies? I mean, there are so few of those. Well, Melissa, I mean, these are basically short stories. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. These are basically short stories. Each story is about, reading out loud is about 25 minutes or so. That's a short story. I find callbacks the most satisfying thing to both read and write. Any tips on working them in naturally without sounding forced? Absolutely. I teach this in my course as well. But, you don't want to do, you set something up and then you pay it off later. Usually you set it up in Act 1 and you pay it off in Act 3. You don't set something up in Act 3 and pay it off in Act 3. That's crappy writing. So you wouldn't want to do a callback that you just set up in Act 3 and then pay it off in Act 3. That's terrible. But I talk about this in the course. True. Sorry I couldn't afford the classes, but I would love to get to sometime. I don't know what you mean, but maybe, okay. Be able to get to. All right, hopefully sometime in the future. Laughter is a powerful tool. You must not have seen Eddie Pepitone stand up. No, I haven't seen Eddie Pepitone stand up. Third season episode of Dairy Girls named The Quality. He speaks of one episode rocks. Okay, I don't know that show. Did you ever try doing stand-up? I did stand-up in college and afterwards, a little bit shortly afterwards. Do you think working as a reader could help lead to work as a writer? No. Nope. I mean, it'll show you it'll show you what bad writing looks like, and it'll show you, if you get to read something that's really good, it'll show you what good writing looks like. But it won't help you go, it only help you insofar as that does, I picture directors interacting with real actors. How do you direct animation? Is directing the voice actors? Yeah, I direct the voice actors. I get the performance that I want out of them. And I talk, if that interests you, I have a few videos on my newsletter where I talk about directing voice actors. And then the animators, there's a separate director for the animation they direct the action. And then as a showrunner, I will look at either the boards, or I'll look at what's called an animatic, and I'll give notes on that. I'll say, no, that should be played in a close-up, not a two-shot, or no, let's cut out of this shot quicker. That's, I give notes on that. How are single camera shows? We did that. Parallels like George Lucas used to throw out Star Wars with Luke and Vader, similarities between father and son. Still don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I really don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. This is not, and I don't mean to be dismissive, but these are not terms that writers use, or I've never heard a writer use these terms. I've been in writers' rooms my entire career, so I don't think, I can't help you with that, my friend. What's it like being in a writer's room? Are you guys just laughing and telling stories, or heads down writing next to each other? No. We're laughing and telling stories. The actual writing part usually happens in your own office. You peel off. Does a competent songwriter, composer have a place in or near a writer's room? Nope. No. I mean, in a writer's room, you have writers. And then when you need a songwriter, you hire a songwriter or, a composer, to do the music. But no, there's no place for that in a writer's room. Okay. Is that it? Let me check my emails. Let me see what's going on here real fast. All right. That's it. Okay, everyone. That's it. Thank you so much for joining my live. I'll probably do another one maybe later today. I'm not sure. And if you're in the LA area, come see my show. Tickets are still available. MichaelJamin.com/live. And if you want me to come see to your town, go to MichaelJamin.com/upcoming and give me your 411 there. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Be well.